Hey, good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? Glad to see you guys drop in. And Shay, hey, happy Valentine's Day. It's good to see you. So, guys, depending on what you guys vote today, so I know those who saw my poll yesterday, if all you guys voted on what character you want to see me draw. So, I know, I know a good chunk of you voted for Cheshire Cat, but I know it's a good couple of you voted at Yakko as well. So, what I figured what I would do since I since I realized I have a lot, because I thought today would end up being a pretty short stream, but I realized I had some extra time for today. I figured instead of trying to trying to draw animator. Good to see you. Glad you dropped in too. So I figured instead of just trying to doing one, I figure I would go ahead and do both. And so so earlier this morning I was kind of spending kind of most of the days kind of like drawing different sketches, it's kind of them interacting. And so and plus I figure, with both, Chechka and Wacko Yakko being both chaotic characters, I figured I would go ahead and actually kind of draw like the both of them together. So let me start off with, with this very like brief sketch. Just kind of get things started. I figure I have a very, very relaxed position because Simon being a mad cat, he's also a very chill cat as well. I figure I'd have it here, where maybe Yak was probably grabbing onto him. Bring him a little bit closer. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Yeah, it might have been pretty busy for a good chunk of this week. Like been kind of busy with my days. I've had a lot of things I need to actually catch up. And also, one of my day jobs was actually, at a grocery store at Publix. We had a lot of folks actually kind of come in for Valentine's Day. So people buying up all different chocolates, all the different like balloons. In fact, I was planning on getting some that day I went in, but I figured I might as well wait till the day because I figure since it's the day after it's when it's after Thanksgiving. Excuse me, what am I saying? Not Thanksgiving, on Valentine's Day. All this stuff will be marked down. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, I initially considered for drawing these. Even though for earlier this morning I did decide I was gonna draw both of these two, I was initially thinking about having just doing two separate drawings, but I figured it would be a little more interesting, if I decide to actually draw draw them together. And anyway, I'm kind of glad some most of y'all picked Cheshire as well, because it's been a while since I had drawn him. Yeah, let me pause for a moment. Yeah, and luckily, where I am, even though we're still in the middle of February, it's still kind of chilly here. Yeah, yeah, we ended up getting our cold snap where it rained, so it kind of cooled things off for a little bit. And it's supposed to be like this for the rest of this week. rest this week. But then I think that's according to Groundhog Day that they said would get at least about 6 more weeks of winter. So I guess it turned out to be pretty accurate after all. Let me. Sorry, I'm pausing for a moment. Because I was thinking about having Yakko grabbing his tail, but since he's leaning down, maybe he's probably resting on it instead. Because I already thought of a bit of dialogue in between them. What it is, I'm not gonna reveal what it is just yet. What else was I going to mention? What was it? Top been working. Just gonna be spending time with the family, trying to get moving some stuff I'm out. Cause I'm actually gonna be moving out of my place I'm currently at now pretty soon. Place and release gonna be running out too, so I'm gonna be moving back to my old place and actually like later on, actually nearly in May. So really, it's really at the end of April that I'll be moving out. Now we move back to my old place. So one thing that definitely will happen, if I'm still doing these streams, I will think my layout will be a little bit different. Cause I'll have to kind of restructure my layout at the old place. Before I focus more on him, let me kind of make sure he's squared out of the way. The thing is with him is like since I've drawn Yakko so many times, I can pretty much kind of draw my own from memory now. But with Cheshire, since I hadn't drawn him a while, I have to kind of use a little bit of reference here and there. And as you can see, guys, I am kind of basing him more off, the Disney version. Because it comes to like just madcap like zany designs. Can't mess with perfection. I think it is a little thing that I'm kind of doing doing a drawing both Cheshire and Yakko together. Especially on Animaniacs, they did have an episode where they did parody Alice in Wonderland. Now, granted, that particular episode, Warner, Yakko and Moores, they weren't in it. That was really more like a Buttons and Mindy short. Yeah, I think that looks much better now. So I think I'll have Sawayer's tail. And he's balancing stuff on the back of his tail, and he's using that. Pretty good. Let me just get I think I bring out his expression just a bit more. anytime I draw the eyes, I always try to make sure like one eye is a little bit bigger than the other, and it's a little bit off center. And I kind of make sure they're at an angle whenever I do them, because that's how a lot of the Animax episodes where when they were animated by Wang Productions, because that was one of the 6 animation studios that worked on Animaniacs. But whenever they worked on the Warners, they always kind of gave the Warners these very like these large, almost off center like eyes, which I really dug because I feel like the way they did it gave them a very zany but almost demented look to them. First, I think the Warners like look their complete best, with Wang, because they had a couple. There was Wang Studios, that was one. There was TMS, who normally done a lot of anime. There was that. There was Star Tunes. There was another one. I can't remember. Like, it's Wang, TMS, Star Tunes, Acom. Now, I think Acom, they took over for a good chunk of the later seasons. And then for a short while, they had another one called Freelance and I think Coco. So they had a lot of different studios. So like, and those who fulfill the studio would probably pick out the different styles, like both of them had. Because of course, TMS, they come with their own like anime-ish look. Wang, they had a very rubbly like zany look, which I think worked best for the show. Then for Star Tunes, they weren't as fluid as like say like TMS. They gave those a very kind of like chubbier look, but their image had a lot of personality. Then of course you had like other suits like Freelance where it was inventive, but a lot of times their stuff would could get really off model. And funny to think, that's kind of stuff you normally don't see as much anymore with a lot of like animated shows, like especially shows that are being outsourced to like different studios, where you kind of start seeing the difference in the different styles and how what each studio brings. And granted, I know a part of that depends, like whether being outsourced to, like what type of direction it's under. Because even like the look of a shorter show can like heavily depend on like how the director wants to actually have the show to look. Like say for example with old Looney Tunes, like Bugs Bunny and a Clampett cartoon could look very different from say Bugs Bunny and a Chuck Jones short. Let me bring his thumb out here. So let me get his slacks while we're at it. Also, for a slight detour, for those of you that dropped in on Friday earlier last week, this is one of the things I drew, on that late night stream. I did a drawing of P Flute. For those who don't know who P Flute was, he was a vocalist for one of my favorite funk metal groups from the 80s on 24/7 Spies, from the 80s. And I decided to do a brief little tribute piece to him where I kind of drew him just with a regular like ballpoint pen and some just regular Crayola markers. So that was a lot of fun to do. And of course, before that, well, actually after that, like that next Saturday morning, I did another new piece, all kind of in brush pen, where I drew like a whole bunch of people at kind of an art studio. And this, I might consider again coming back to this one day, maybe like redrawing like in color. But that was a lot more fun to do because I did want to kind of do something that was all in brush pen and something that had more of a kind of Kim Jong-gi type like aesthetic. So that one was really fun to work on. And also here, like since I would. Yeah, ever since I picked up those Crayola markers, I've been practicing on like mixing them together and seeing what different colors you can. Because I had forgotten like how versatile these things can be. Because even though they're the most basic, of basically art materials out there, that's the beauty of them. They're very fun to use. Let me see something. Let me bring this down a bit more. Of course, we can't forget his little tail in the back as well. Alright, let me get my mechanical pencil. Let's see, where is it? I just had it. Here we go. Perfect. I think I'll start. Let me make his nose just a little bit larger than it normally is. I think I'm gonna come down kind of a sharp down, then come back up. So I like to kind of come down to kind of really accentuate his snout. Get his other side cheek. Let me kind of get the his hairy edges on his cheeks. I think I make these a little bit bigger. There we go. I figure I'll give him kind of a mischievous mark expression. Just this little tuft of hair. Let me get his little torso while we're at it. See, I forget. Oh, his belt buckle. I didn't want to forget that. Let me get his little webbed feet. Let me bring his arms down just a bit more. finger, that long index finger out. I know I might probably make his tail probably a bit longer than it normally is. But I think for this particular section, I'll make an exception. I think I'll make those ears a little bit scratchy, some extra scruffy. That's one thing I do kind of like about with the rebooted version of MX, one of their redesigns. Because even though they pretty much kept it the same for the most, they actually made the edges around where their black fur is a little bit more scruffier, which kind of does add, to their say kind of unhinged personality. So let me get our Cheshire friend over here. Let me bring his smile back up just a bit more here. Let me bring his head down a bit more here. Make sure that trollish smile's on full display here. Because what do you consider him, like a good guy or villain in the original movie? He's definitely kind of a troll, really. In a way. Let's get his eyebrows. Yeah, it's been a while, I think, ever since I've drawn Cheshire Cat. Because I think I remember, he was one of the guys, I think it was the very first character I drew on my DeviantArt account when I first formed my first DeviantArt account. And I know one of the first ones I did on there that I really liked, I did one with him and, Lucifer, from Cinderella, that other black cat. In fact, that one, because I think I came across it the other day, going through some of my old work, and I'm thinking I'll probably redrawing that one day, because while I like it, I might do it with a different medium, because I think what happens, like, when I did that initial one, I did some water-based felt tip pens, and while they're really nice and colorful, while I like them, the only thing about it is that they work. Since these are very kind of small markers, I have to color a lot of large areas. They kind of drop. They're kind of a little bit streaky. Because this is well before I had gotten into alcohol-based markers where I could lay down large swabs of color, with them. We kind of make the top area a little bit more here. Because on the end of its tail is kind of bushy. So I want to make sure I get that right. And of course, we can't forget his stripes. Get the bottom part. I almost forgot that. I know there was one I did a while back that I remember really liking that. It made a lot of fun. I redrew that was the phase when I was redrawing of different cartoons as human characters. And I remember what I did for that one. I think I redrew the Cheshire Cat where I drew the what I kind of made his striped body as kind of like a straight jacket. No, actually, I think I remember I gave him a suit, but I had him striped, but I had very striped and shaped like like a straight jacket from that period. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now let's break out our ink pen. Let me see. It's not the one I was looking for, but this will work fine. This is probably when I'm probably get a little less chatty because now since I'm in the inking phase, yeah, this is part where I'm really kind of focused on making sure I get everything just right. Forgive me if I end up kind of turning the paper around too much. I don't want you to get too dizzy. I want to try to make sure whenever I'm putting my line work down, all the lines kind of flow together with a certain type of rhythm to them. I know of a thicker one I can use. I'll probably get to that soon enough. These guys' little gloved hands. And I try to always try to go thin on the inner lines and go thicker on the outer lines. Doing with brush pens like this, I always try to turn around. So I guess, because I think about brush pens, well, I can get like a lot of different line variations. They can be a little hard to control if you're not really used to them. Because it's a matter of kind of like kind of how you hold the pen and also how you angle it too, to get those strokes that you want. get his other foot while we're at it. What probably I'm gonna do is, like, since the ink here tends to stay pretty wet even after laying it down, before I start erasing some of the pencil marks that I made, I'm probably just gonna let this kind of sit and dry for at least for a couple more seconds. Now let's move on to our Cheshire friend here. Let me bring his eyebrows up a bit more. Two 2004 minute part. Oh yeah, yeah, I do remember that too. I tell you, it's been a while since I've seen Alice in One, Alice in Wonderland. I remember back in then when I used to watch not Disney Channel but Disney XD. And for those who don't remember Disney XD, it was well, it used to be Toon Disney. It was one of those channels you could only get back special cable like Xfinity or Comcast. But it's kind of where they played a lot of, like, the programs that weren't being played on, like, Disney Channel. And so I remember what I used to love them for. They used to play a lot of, like, older cartoons. And they would play, in kind of older cartoons, they would play, like, Alice in Wonderland all the time. In fact, they would play a lot of stuff. I think when it came to, like, the old school, like Disney films, I remember they would do a lot of stuff from, like, the Silver Age, to the Bronze Age Disney, because Alice in Wonderland, that was when he used to always play. He used to always play Dumbo. I remember Robin Hood. They used to play that a lot. And I think that's my personal favorite of all the Disney that came from the 70s. That's probably my personal favorite. But Alice in Wonderland, that's probably my favorite one from the 50s, though. Especially, I was like, with that being one of the first ones where the artist Mary Blair, she designed a lot of the artwork, just the overall visual look for it. Not just for Alice in Wonderland, but even for other films in the 50s, because I know she also did it for Peter Pan. I believe she did it for Sleeping Beauty as well. I believe so. Let me kind of bring his ears further in. Let me get a spot for his whiskers. And also, fun fact, it was actually one of the very first of the classic, if I recall, it was one of the first Disney films that actually aired on TV. Cause surprised that for a long time, for those of you who don't know, it was a long time before they air they ever aired like Disney movies on TV. Because the idea is because Walt Disney himself, he was against the idea of having a show on TV because they felt that since like they were really popular, he felt like having it on TV would kind of cheapen their appeal. But the thing is, like everyone really kind of wanted to see it, I think Allison was kind of the first one. Then eventually they start outsourcing, like going to other like Disney films. Because I think they did the same thing when they put them on VHS too, where they started with mainly a lot of the more Silver Age, like Bronze Age. Even though this film, like Alice Wonderland, is considered more like classic era, I'm just kind of mentioning the history of it, where they start with mainly a lot of the Bronze, like Silver era, like Disney movies before they moved on to the more like well-known like was a golden area and even like the Renaissance ones too. Because I know even on Toon Disney, I think the only like classic ones they used to play a lot. They used to play Hercules a lot. They would do Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, they would all, and even Mulan too and Tarzan. They would always play a lot more than over like say like Lion King, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast. They used to play they'll play us a lot more over the others. Give me just one. Let me find my bigger. I have a bigger pen I can use here. Give me just one moment to see and find out where it is. Hang on. Where is it? I should have it in. Should have it in somewhere. Yeah, Spawn the Black Way. Yeah, because I definitely remember. Because I swear, Cheshire really was a troll because, like, Alice trying to find that white rabbit. She couldn't find where it is. He kept not really giving her an answer. And when he finally did, then he gets in trouble with the Queen. Then she has to be put on trial. It's a crazy movie, but it's a fun one. A pretty psychedelic one too. In fact, I remember a while back. Before I go back over more of the ink, let me kind of erase some of the pencil marks I got now, since I believe the ink here is dried up a bit now. Since I know the ink here takes a little longer to kind of dry with these brush pens. This is a lot more ink compared to regular like pen marks. I think I'll wait for it to dry a bit more, because if I erase it too early, it'll start smearing, and I don't want that. Alright, there we go. So I'm just going to go over some of our outer lines here. Just really kind of thicken up so it's to look a little bit neater. Going the outer edge, just being really thick on the outer edge. I'm just kind of thinking myself as I go further in. Fun fact with Cheshire Cat, I think nowadays in more modern parents like Jim Cummings, one of my favorite voice actors, he pretty much does him now. And I gotta say, he does a really good job. But I figure, yeah, now that I think about it, it's probably easy for him, like since just like with Cheshire Cat's original voice actor Sterling Holloway, because while he did Cheshire Cat, he also did Winnie the Pooh a few years later. Flash forward to later now with Jim Cummings, it was easy to do for. I guess it was easy for him to do Cheshire Cat because he already did on Winnie the Pooh, and Tigger. Because there was a bonus feature I think that released on one of the DVDs for House Luna where they had him sing one of the deleted songs for him called "I'm Mad." I think that's what it was called. And it's funny to think, with like Cyril Hahn with the Riddle performance, like it's funny like how with both performances, because between the Cheshire Cat voice and Pooh's voice, there's not that much a difference as far as like the actual voice sounds, but it's just his actual inflections. Where Cheshire Cat, his inflections they cause some very dreamlike, almost like a madcap energy. Pooh, like it's kind of basically the same voice, but it's a little bit more gentler. A lot of that falls in kind of inflection and delivery of their dialogue. And it definitely takes a true like voice sound to really kind of pull that off because the one thing I found out with voice acting, like it's not so much how many voices you can actually, well, it is part of how many voices you can do, but also it depends like how you can utilize those voices, and if you can make that voice like give whatever you're voicing a lot of character. If that makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling at the moment, but just something I wanted to bring up. The bottom of his feet. bottom portion here of his feet. That kind of smeared a little bit here. I didn't want to do that. That's alright. I can always fix. I think I can fix that later if I can. You're getting like bold lines like this. They're always easier once I've laid down the grain with like smaller lines. Because all I do is just go over the marks I just made. I tell you, like, it took a long time to kind of really get a feel of doing line work. I tell you, I tell you like years ago. If I did this probably maybe like 5 years ago, I would even thought of trying to do something with it with brush pen. Now mine going a little trickier here because fine if I am gonna color this all in black anyway. Let's get his little ears while we're at it. All right. Alright, cool. So, now I got our ink work done. Let's go and color these guys in. So give me just a few moments. Let me find my colors. Give me just a few more moments. Alright, here, let me see if I got it. If I got a good purple that I can use. I guess before I start on the purple, let me start the lighter colors first. I'm just gonna start off, with yellow for getting the eyes. But that's just me. I always prefer to start with like the brighter colors before I start going further in. Color in his belt buckle. Tail color in his khaki slacks. It's a little too bright. I should have something a little darker than that. Okay, perfect. Before I go further, let me get my blot sheet. Because I don't want... Here we go. Because I do not want it to bleed through the other pages. Yeah, I know I've mentioned before, but I recommend if you're not using like actual marker paper, if you're using just like mixed media paper or Bristol board, I recommend put like a blot sheet underneath here, so that way, if it does bleed through, it'll bleed through on the blot sheet and not on the next pages. Because some markers will bleed through a lot easier, especially these times. These are like chart pack. I like them, but they do tend to bleed a lot. So that is something to keep in mind. Plus, I haven't really been able to find them that often. Now, granted, I haven't done much searching, because the only place I've been able to find them at is this place called Sandflax. It's one of our big art stores we have here in my hometown. And they have them open to stock, but I haven't really spotted them all that much anywhere else. While I'm at, let me get my red one out. Can't forget his little nose. Alright, so where's the black one that I had? Let me see. Ooh, okay. I was not expecting this one to be this low on ink. I might be able to make it work. Let's see. Yeah, because I've been using kind of a mixture of like old and like new markers that I have. I have some new because I have some markers that I've gotten very recently. Let me try the other side. Okay, this is much better. This works much better. Probably because I hadn't used this side as much. Because I have some markers where I've gotten fairly recently. I'm currently using them. But I also got like a whole bunch of like older markers I haven't really used, as much that I need to use like before, they start going bad. But luckily, like for a lot of the markers that I use, like even for the ones I don't use, I always kind of make sure I don't leave them, make the caps are on time. I kind of put them in an area where they're not going to really dry out too much. So I tend to keep them in my closet. And I'll just pull them out like when I need them. I could have met. trying to think of so I can't remember what it was. I can only imagine, how a full episode of Animaniacs, with both the Warners and Cheshire would go. That would be the best, but probably the most chaotic thing out there. Cheshire Cat and Wonderland's mad, but the Warners, they're mad in their own right too. So it'd be a clash of two chaotic characters. Because I know there's two terms. There's chaotic evil, chaotic good, chaotic neutral. I think Cheshire Cat, I guess you could say he's probably more chaotic neutral. Since even though he pretty much sells Alice out near the end, he kind of neutral because he doesn't really involve himself with a lot of the other stuff that goes on with Alice, at least that as much. Whereas Warrens, they're chaotic, but they tend to go after people, they felt that either provoked them. Let me bring his shoulder out a bit more here. Yeah, I have a gel pen. I gotta bring these edges back out a bit, so I'll get to that a little later on. Now we get for his stripes. Lighter, oh, here we go. About to say, I know I have lighter pink in here I can use. That's a little too bright though. Let me use this rose. Let me see how that looks. Okay, that looks much better. Because even though it's pink, I know, like, his face, like, right around his mouth, it's kind of, like, in some areas, it's kind of like a bright pink. There we go. All right. And as for the rest of him, I should try test. I can make, I'll make it work. I think what I am gonna do is that I think I'll just start off going on his whole body in pink. Then I'll just kind of go down at the stripes in a little bit later. Uh-oh, I hope this one doesn't dry out on me too. So I'm gonna add some extra shadiness later on once I'm done coloring these guys in. I'll think about it once I get around to it. Oh, I might have to do the stripes after all. Okay, I was not expecting to kind of run out of ink that fast. So I'm gonna have to improvise. Uh-oh. Oh, it's smearing a bit. I was not expecting that. Yeah, I was not expecting this to happen. And if it's still a little patchy, I might like probably do if I don't have another. I should have another mark. I might have another marker on it I can use to kind of like even this out a bit more. Yeah, let me check and see. Give me just a moment. No, this is really more of a peach, but nah, that's not gonna do it. That's not gonna do it at all. Well, that might work. I can probably make this work. It's gonna be more of a warm peach. I'm just gonna go over the areas I've already done. Alright, let's go over the other third parts of him. Let me color his little nose. Let me see how that looks against. Because I might have to go with a darker color. But let's see. Actually, no, this might work just fine. Actually, no, yeah, this'll work. This'll work. Perfect. Yeah, I want to make sure these nice and. We'll make sure it's dark enough, but not too dark enough to where, you know, it too dark enough. Because I want to make sure the colors are pretty accurate to how he is, you know, in the original movie. I know later on today I'll have to go in and I'll do an evening shift at my day job later on this evening. And one thing I might do, just to give y'all a heads up, I might do another silent stream. Cause you know that the one I showed P with, that was like a side stream, but also those of you probably haven't seen it. I did another video where I drew those western cowboy heads. That wasn't really a silent stream, so that was really like a silent video. Because unlike the P-Fluid one, that one, it was something I recorded privately, you know, when I wasn't streaming. I had to edit down and kind of move a lot of like dead air in between. Because that one, I think that one was like 45. When I did Cowboy Western Hit Step 1, that was like 45 minutes. You know, with all the pauses and all. But I think when I edit down, it ended up being about 30 minutes. We get the inside of his ears. You get his eyelids. Because I want to use like a slightly different, like darker shade of purple for the hair around his head. So let me see if I got one. Let me see how this one looks first before I go into it. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Let's see. And if I don't have that, you know what? I can improvise. I do have some purples here, but a lot of the ones I have are a little bit too bright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use this cyan that I have, and I'm gonna go over it with the pink that I've been using. I think I'll do it at the bottom of his feet here too. Yeah, because I'm gonna go over to kind of some pink to kind of like make this kind of like a dark purple. Let me just stick with the other one. It still turned out to be a little darker than I would have liked. Well, I got colored pencil. I can probably bring that back out. think I will do now. Let me go get my colored pencils. Give me just one moment. Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. So, let me see if I can brighten this back up, with some pink. Okay, perfect. That works out much better. And now while I'm at it, then accentuate a couple of areas here so we kind of make this more like, or just give this more like a pinkish hue. Yeah, because now that I got the main colors out of the way, now I can start having fun as far as adding air colors where I need to add it. Cause I was on the fence whether or not if I wanted to add some extra shading, but since I got these out now, I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. We use this red violet here. Now I can use a darker color like for the purple bands. I'm just using it right now here so I can kind of lay down our foundation, and so we can get these get our shadows in. Here we go. This is perfect. Just gonna get these darker areas here. Just kind of go around the bends. Just to add a little more dimension to our madcap cat here. Just gonna get in the middle here. Let me step back for a moment. Alright. Now, I think while I'm at that, let me go and get... I think what I will do now before I move on to Yakko, let me kind of iron this out just a bit more by getting rid of any of these by getting rid of any of these white areas I still got here. I think I'm going to use that kind of slightly go over our pencil marks here, just kind of smooth this out. Just give this a nice, smoother look. Alright, that looks good. So let's move on to our friend Yakko on the side. I'm just using some regular brown here. Yeah, normally if I'm shading, I'll probably just use either either browns or purples for my shading. Since this is a very light brown, I'm just gonna use a darker one in response. I appreciate you guys have been liking this stream so far. Know it's been a while since I did one that's a little more focused. Because I've been a little more focused, as of lately, becoming making videos. I tried doing more stuff as far as like making more videos, either more silent streams. One odd idea I've had about doing for a while. I almost considered doing a parody of those My Story animate videos. Y'all probably heard of it. It's kind of those ones where people kind of like animate their own, sort of doing true stories. But I'm more kind of focused on the ones like where you have the ones that are obviously they kind of the ones is like ones like I met Mr. Beast, or other ones where they said I had two boyfriends at the same time, but the situation is very like unrealistic. Because that's the thing. With a lot of the ones I came across, like obviously like a lot of them are definitely fake, and normally I wouldn't have been too bothered by it. But just a lot of times it's like they're not even like, really good stories. And I thought maybe I could do like a parody of that, but I don't know. I'll probably just stick with what I got planned. Alright, let me see if I got a gray on hand that I can use. Oh, perfect, I do. Let me get around his hand here. Get the shadows underneath the both of them here. Oh. Just to make this pop, though, I am going to use a little blue here, though. Alright, let me see, what else can I add? Oh yeah, almost forgot. Gonna use some of our gel pens here. Let me bring the highlights back out on his eyes here. May add a little highlight on his nose. Just a tiny bit on his eyes. Alright, let's see. Now I'm just gonna kind of go around and see if there's any other spots I need to kind of spruce up. I think I'll go a little darker here. marks that we made. And I'm just going with the colors I already used to kind of give more of a smoother consistency. Hey, thanks, Shay. Glad you like it. Yeah, really glad you guys have been liking how it turns out. Yeah, right now I'm doing is kind of adding like a little bit more finishing touches before I decide to call it for today. You know, since thing is kind of feathered a bit, I think I will go over it a bit. Oh, you did? Oh, that's nice. Yeah, what'd you end up drawing for the card? Because I've been watching stuff a lot on Blue Sky, but your new stuff's been looking pretty good. I'll kind of go over this kind of so his feet aren't, so the bottom shows aren't too dark. There we go. Also, let me go over Yakko again, kind of go over his pants. To kind of smooth out the marks that we've made here. Before I finish it off, maybe just kind of sketch out my dialogue before I go in with the ink. Give me just one moment. I gotta check on something. I'm back. Okay, now let me see what other stuff I can add here. I think I'll kind of like spruce up the background a bit more here. Alright, let's see. Yeah, we are almost about done here. Alright, I actually believe that's it for this one. I don't see too much I can do with this one right here. But guys, I really hope you liked how well today's have turned out. I think I will add a little bit of blue here, just kinda make them pop a bit more. So guys, I hope you guys liked today's stream. And first off, I appreciate you guys for actually picking these characters for me to actually draw today, because I had a few ideas on what I wanted to do for today, but I wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with. So I figured I'd have you guys vote on which ones characters I want to do. I'm thinking about probably doing this again from the next stream I do too, but I'll let you guys know like what I have in store for next week's stream, if any. But until then, guys, I hope you all have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I hope to see you all again very soon.